Okay, I'm a minute early. If you're watching on YouTube, the recording, just scrub forward. You'll get to see something. I'm doing book reviews today because I can. Hopefully I picked out some good ones, things you've not seen before or something like that, you know. We'll just wait for people to come in. Give me a thumbs up as you come in if you don't mind. It helps the algorithms. Alright, got my other computer set up, so now we're just waiting. Just waiting, just waiting, just waiting. We'll do focus, you freak, too. Man, the lights are bright, aren't they? I think I will maybe turn which one off. Let's see what that does. It's going to make half the desk really dark. Let's just see what it does. See, oh, that's really dark now. Hi, Diana. All right, we're going to go with that. Otherwise, it was just too bright. Didn't feel good. Hey, Rachel, freak. You know, I hate to say that I feel icky because then you guys think I feel bad. I really don't. Hi, Judy. It's just, do you guys' stomach ever just feel icky? You don't feel bad. You're not sick. You just feel icky. That's kind of how I feel. And I kind of suspect it's milk products. Hi, Tambit. Darlene. So lurk away. I'm going to be doing book reviews, just showing you some books. Hopefully that you've, they're going to be new to you. Some of them won't be, because I know Dee Dee and I have showed them several times, but kind of unique books, I'm hoping. Different from your run-of-the-mill. Hey, Dee Dee. So, yeah, I'll be fine. But, you know, when I was going through looking for the books, I think I could do, like, book shows for the next 3 months and never show the same book twice. Hi, Terry. I'm not kidding. There's a lot of books in there, and a lot of them, like a couple of them I got out. It's just like, I haven't looked at this book in months and months and months. And that's almost just criminal, in my opinion. Too much books. But I have, it's not just art books. Like, there's an entire library upstairs as well. And I need to start going through it, you know? So, yeah, if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up when you come in. Appreciate it a lot. See, I love books too. I really, really love books. You can always be entertained with a book. In fact, what was it, Saturday afternoon, I laid down about 2 o'clock and just read until dinner time. But hopefully, yeah, I'm going to show you some good ones. Oh, there was another one I was going to get out. Oh, well, I'll do it another time. Because I got out enough books and I counted, okay, if I do 5 minutes per book, I've got enough for like 2 hours. And I know some of them will probably spend more than 5 minutes on because they're just too good not to. So, anyway, check your settings because I just looked at mine and YouTube famously bumped me down to 360 again. They do that commonly, so why do I get the feeling it's going to cost you money? Well, put on your exercise anti-enabling pants. There's some good ones. Like, there's certain books I think you should just buy. You should just own them. because it just enriches your life. And the cool thing about a book is it's not like you just spend the money once. You can go back and look at them again and again and again. Like the Mary Engelbreit book, Dee Dee showed it. I didn't get it out today, but it's how Mary Engelbreit got her start. And it's got a lot of her art in it and a lot of her original art when she started, way back when she was a kid. I bet I've read that book 3 or 4 different times. Easily. Anti-enabler, like the ones I wear, yeah. And if they have holes in them, that's just all the better. So, anyway, you have the book that's on here. I don't know where I actually saw this book, The Tattooed Map. I like books like this. I didn't get out S either. That's the book. I should have gone upstairs and gotten it. It's got a lot of inclusions in it, and you have to follow this story. If you want, I guess you'd call it an enigma. The book is so captivating. And then with all the inclusions, it's almost like, even though you don't know what's going on most of the time, which I did not, you still have to read it. You have to keep going. Yeah, Barbara Hodgson. Maybe you showed me this book, Dee Dee. I don't know. I only got out, no, I got 2 of hers out. And then another one that's, in the same vein. So, hi Sharon. I don't know, oh, the Mary Engelbreit book. Yeah, the Mary Engelbreit book. If you don't have it, I'll go get it. I'll show it first, because honestly, that book I love so much. Take me just a second, because it's right here. This is the book that I'm talking about, Mary Engelbreit, The Art and the Artist. One of my very favorite books of all time. I'll start with it. You know, her work is so relatable, I guess, is what part of the reason she has become as well loved as she has. But a lot of her really, really famous art is in here. But there's a story that goes along with it, how she sent her cards off to different card makers and got denied, and so she started her own line and sold them locally. And, you know, it's like a little guy, David versus Goliath kind of, you know, where she made it regardless of the buttheads who told her no. Hi, Brenda. Hey, Mindy. So most of you are familiar with her art. So you get that as an advantage. And this is a little bookmark I made using her stamps. I have a lot of her stamps. If one came out, you can bet I bought it. And my mother did too, so I ended up with duplicates. But I've given most of those away now. So anyway, I'll flip to this section. Like, this is one of her really older ones, 1983. The New Associate. So I don't know when this book came out. I've had it for years and years. And look at, there's always, if I open a book, my artwork is somewhere stuck inside. It's crazy. I don't know why I do that. Well, no, this must be a reprint, 1996. No, I don't know. Anyway, here's some of the older, 1982. Oh, live chat. Yeah, I like her art. I think she's universally loved. I don't know anybody who doesn't really, really like her art. But there's a section in here that shows how she started. And look at her studio. Is that not just envy worthy? OMG. And there's her offices. They're also envy worthy. All right, come on, come on, come on. Okay, here. How she goes about creating the art, drawing it out in pencil and then inking it and coloring it. I think she's changed over. She started out using colored pencil. I think now she's moved over to alcohol markers. Anyway, it's a great book. And you can look at it over and over and over again. Here's some of her really old. That's 1972, Disco Skaters. That was me and Dee Dee in our youth. Okay, here's some of her art when she was a kid. She obviously had a knack from a very young age. This is the section I think that's really interesting, where you can see how she kind of developed as an artist. She was very good, even as a youngster. But one of the things that got me drawing, honestly, was doing some of her simple art, like the flowers. Let me see if I got paper here. I do this every time. How can I have paper everywhere and never have a piece of paper? Did you guys watch Dee Dee this morning, and did you see those comp books? I'm going to have to go. But just drawing the simple flower of the circle with the bigger circle and then the half circle for leaves, just like that, and then coloring them really brightly and paying attention to where she did the shading. I probably learned a ton just from doing that. You know, just trying to recreate what she drew. I mean, who couldn't draw that? Love the half comp book. Yeah, I have her calendars, the 365 ones. In fact, I have an entire scrapbook of those. But anything Mary Engelbreit, I would buy. Let's see. For my mother, who always told me anything was possible. So, yep, Mary Engelbreit. Of all the artists, I definitely have a soft spot for Mary Engelbreit. All right, I can't put these books on the floor. All right, hang on. I'm going to move a chair over here so I can set them on the chair. And then I won't be falling over them. Maybe. Maybe not. But part of the thing I think I love about her art, it's just so colorful. Like, it just sucks you in. Because it's so colorful and pretty. But these books, Barbara Hodgson, they are a novel, and she has included art into this. So this book is somewhere in North Africa, a woman traveler awakens with a mysterious mark on her hand, a mark that soon grows into a tattoo. So begins the enigma of the tattooed map, in which intrepid traveler Lydia journeys with her friend and former lover Christopher to Morocco in search of antiques and adventure. Lydia records her daily experiences in a journal, keeping track of hotel addresses and conversations, and pasting such flotsam and jetsam as maps, photographs, and drawings into her diary. So this is in fact her diary of her Moroccan adventures. And the rest of it, you have to buy the book. No, I'm kidding. Hi, Kimberly. But so yeah, it's a not a graphic novel, but she's included things, and I think the inclusions in this would just be fun to make. You know, just make up your own story, keeping track of the money and stuff in the margins, and seeing different Moroccan art and just slapping it in your journal. Isn't that kind of what we all want to do? But because our lives are just so, mine is so homebound, that yeah, I'd have to do like postage stamps or junk mail, because that's pretty much what I get. But I love these kind of books. It's a story and it's got art in it. So if you enjoy that kind of thing, I would say these books you will absolutely love. Look at the artwork. So it's not just eye candy. I like eye candy though too. Nothing wrong with eye candy. So yeah, I probably will have to go look and see if she has more of these, because then I also have Italy Out of Hand. And they're just, these books just feel good in your hand. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, just holding this book and looking through it and reading it, it just feels good. And let's see. I think this is pretty much the same sort of thing. Lots of art. Boswell's Venereal Tour. What? So if you like these kind of books, this one is Italy Out of Hand, a capricious tour. She obviously is very good at this. Very, very good at this. The Trapper Keeper, yeah, that was funny. So, don't we all wish we could create cool little things like this? And I'm sure a lot of the images that she's used are royalty free, so you could use them. Well, and if you're not selling it, nobody cares anyway. So, but you learn something too, because she does a lot of history in here. So yeah, it's not just reading and eye candy. You actually learn stuff. You learn about locations, about people. And as you get older, you need to learn stuff. So just, here's baloney. That binder got you out of bed to comment. Yeah, that was an amazing binder. I always think, well, that would be really cool to have. What am I going to put in there? I still have my Trapper Keeper from, I don't know, years and years ago. This is Paris Out of Hand, A Wayward Guide, Karen Elizabeth Gordon. Same sort of deal. So yeah, there's tons of these kind of books out there. You just got to go looking for them. I love the maps. And then in the same vein, probably the best known author and artist that you guys have all heard of is Nick Bantock, and I'm going to show his books next. And I'm not sure that I got them all. There's another bookmark that I made. Probably been in there for years. It's been around a while, you can tell. So yeah, if you love these kind of books, this one's Karen Elizabeth Gordon, Paris Out of Hand. Italy Out of Hand, The Tattooed Map. Love these books. Some of my absolute favorite. And then the Nick Bantock books. I'll show the first one. Dee Dee has shown this. That has inclusions in it. Dubious Documents. It's a puzzle. And I can't show that because that's when Dee Dee and I were working on it. Dee Dee and I, I might have notes in it, so ignore those. Worked on this together, And there's envelopes. And in each of the envelopes, they're decorated envelopes, are inclusions. And you have to use these, either the front or the back, to solve pieces of the puzzle. Dee Dee, that was so much fun. I wish he'd do another one so we could do it again, because it was just so awesome. But I can't remember how many are in here. Is there like 24 or something? I don't remember. But Nick Bantock, his work is so unbelievably good. Yep, all the notes are in here. So if you're working on this, ignore my notes. We just pull this one out. They're all just so well done. 12? Okay. Maybe I thought 24, because you have to look at the front and the back. So you don't know where the solution to the puzzle is. It was not terribly hard. And I think, like, partly you get lost in the art, you know, just looking at it, because every time you look at it, you see something you didn't see before. But he's so incredibly good, it's not even funny. And the clues might be on the actual envelope themselves, not necessarily on the inclusions. So you have to look at every piece of this art really, really carefully. But it's just so amazing. I almost would like to buy another of these books, so I had one just to cut up and use. Dee Dee and I never submitted our answer, though, did we, Dee Dee? Because there were 2 words that we couldn't decide if they should be flip-flopped or something. It's probably on my notes. Let me look here. Let me see. Yeah, we couldn't decide whether 2 words should be flip-flopped. But we did really good. And we were going to spread this out over, I don't know, several weeks. We ended up doing it like in 2 days. So the clues are in the back. But it's just so much fun to work on. And I'm sorry if you saw some of the answers. You didn't see all of them. I'll put this in the back. So I know Dee Dee's shown it, so I won't show the whole thing. But this is, if I was going to buy myself a fun present just to do, I would buy Dubious Documents, just for the eye candy, for the puzzle, and to go back and look at again and again. This is one of those books that you can look at again and again, and you never get tired of it. In the binding, see, even on this one, because the envelopes, and I wish I had been the printer who had gotten to design this, because of the way they had to manufacture it for the envelopes and the inclusions and everything to work. The actual binding had me just searching and looking for the longest time. Like, the manufacturing of it was even mind-boggling. Whoever did this, they're a good printer. The Trickster's Hat. You guys have seen this. A Mischievous Apprenticeship in Creativity. Again, it's so typical Nick Bantock. Just little things, little pieces of art stuck here and there. But this one actually encourages you to create. Okay, I guess is, we'll just read this one. Original thinkers walk a tightrope. Artists, writers, musicians, and inventors are desperately needed, and at the same time, their unconventional thinking can be seen as a threat to the status quo. If society deems the fruits of imagination worthwhile or pertinent, then it rewards its creator. If it is thought to be irrelevant, or worse, a danger to order, then its inventors is likely to be ignored, ostracized, or, if it's a really bad day, burnt at the stake. And I think that, why would I pick this page to read? Because this is so important in today's climate. You don't have to like what people say or think, but it's their right to say it. And if we let that go, we're sunk. Anyway, why else would we teach our children to be so ambivalent toward their creative urges? So we learn to shut down, block off our creative dreams and intuitive outpourings, and settle instead for anything that will afford us a stroke from friends and family, or a cash reward from the marketplace. But those scraps of reward are a pale relative to the freedoms found in the magnificent/scary landscapes that are revealed when we spread the periphery of our perceptions and wander into the furthest reaches of our imaginations. That's a scary freaking place, right? To get back our enthusiasm, we first need to remind ourselves of the devil-may-care attitude of our child mind. When young children draw and paint, they do so without artifice and are quite comfortable painting seas purple and people blue. They do not question if their inner landscape is as important as the outer. How many of us have fallen into that trap? You can't have a purple person. Well, Lena has recently proven that that's crazy, because some of her paintings where she's doing really, really colorful faces and stuff like that are magnificent. Like, the girl has talent in her toenails. To access our child mind is not the same as being childish. Our child mind is the part of us that still knows the value of metaphor and story. In order to listen to our child mind, we first need to quiet the two parrots that sit on our shoulders. The red parrot on our left shoulder speaks with our parent's voice, and among other things whispers in our ear. It's all well and good, this artsy-fartsy stuff, but it won't end well. You need to be doing something nice and sensible. Yeah, now you might get canceled. Is that not the truth, Dee Dee? The green parrot sits on your right shoulder, constantly squawks things like, "You'll never be good enough, you know. Look at what he's doing. It's so much better than any load of old garbage you might come up with." And I think we all suffer from that to a certain extent. And there's a certain amount of freedom in just saying, you know what, I don't even care what it comes out like. Just do it. Just do it. Do something that is out of your comfort zone. And Dee Dee's been doing that a lot with our homework. I should have saved it. I'm not sure if I did, because I cleaned this weekend. Like cutting out the pattern paper and doing something outside of what you would normally do. I don't do that sort of stuff. But there was something very freeing about doing it. And I knew it was only paper, and I could throw it away at the end of the day. I think I actually stuck it in a folder. But anyway, close your eyes and pretend you have a large roll of duct tape. Cut off a couple of lengths and wrap them tightly around the parrot's beaks. You don't have to shoo the birds away. Just make sure they shut up while you're trying to concentrate on the inside scoop your child mind is giving you about the creatures that swim in the vibrant purple seas. And then he gives you materials. Use a board. Give yourself 20 minutes. The size needs to be 18 inches high. Mix 3 small cups of paint, 1 bright red, 1 bright green, and 1 black. Think about the parents. Think how it felt to paint without fear that you didn't know how, or someone was going to judge the results of what you did. In a very loose way, with the medium-sized brush, quickly paint the 2 parrots. Make them at least a foot high. Then with a smaller brush, paint in a few details, including the duct tape around their beaks. Hint: while you are doing all this, I suggest you sing aloud or silently. Ain't nobody's business but my own. So that's kind of what this whole book is about. You know, it's a good companion for making yourself think outside the box. Do something different. Sit down and do it. So I'm glad I picked that page, because I think it's so perfect. But he gives you a list of materials and some instructions, what you're supposed to do. You might be surprised what you end up coming up with, you know. And then looking at his examples of just little things he's done, I think is definitely inspiring. It's just inspiring, so do it. The Trickster's Hat. And I'm sure a lot of these books, they're older, so if you look on Amazon, you probably are going to be able to find them used. And I think it was CB and I talking the other day, saying that we had ordered different books used through Amazon. And she said she had gotten one that she was disappointed with. I have never got a single used book. And they come from Goodwill. They come from the craziest places. But I've never gotten one that I was disappointed with. Honestly, never one. So that's another Nick Bantock. This is Urgent Second Class, creating curious collage, dubious documents, and other art from ephemera. So, in his usual style, it's just mind-boggling. But I think, too, in all fairness to Nick Bantock, there are some people who just have a sense of balance. And I think that's what he shows over and over and over again in his work. One out of many. Exactly, CB. But his sense of balance and color usage and stuff like that. I think some people have innate talent that way. And if you don't, I think you can improve it by just doing it. He's turned this piece of art into a jigsaw puzzle. That's a cool idea. Very cool idea. Game pieces. There's so much at our fingertips that we don't think about, right? So this is another just, I mean, interesting to read and just absolutely pure eye candy. Something to aspire to. His books rock. Yeah, they do. He's just so, and I'm going to show the Griffin and Sabine here in a minute, Dee Dee. He tells you about photocopies. If you're nervous about working directly on a hard-found piece of ephemera, you are almost certainly going to be inhibited in your creativity. A solution to this anxiety is to photocopy the original. Duh. So he gives you tips about, you know, how to approach whatever it is he's doing. These stuff like this, I love that. Love it. Rubber stamps, I have a lot of those. I could have done a rubber stamp show today. Here's a little boy with his hands down his pants. If you ever had a little boy, you so understand that. I had 5. Cigarette ads, just so good. This makes me want to get out and show my seed packets from Inktober. I haven't decided what I'm going to do this year. I want to do something vintage again. Look at that. This, I'm going to bookmark this, because this I wouldn't mind painting in my vintage watercolor journal. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. And I like the lettering. This would be just fun to recreate. Test your skills, man. Commercial ephemera. So yeah. Has anybody ordered anything yet? Or put something in their cart? I'm just curious. Do vintage travel posters. Oh, that's an idea, Dee Dee. Writing it down, Dee Dee. So yeah, just look at them. They're just so amazing. And he obviously uses art that he didn't produce. It's just the way he puts it together that make it so rich and enjoyable. But can you imagine how much stuff he has to go through just to get enough to do this book? Of course, nowadays, it's so much easier, right? Because we have the computer and printers in our home. despite what you've heard on the news, people in rural areas have photocopiers and printers in their home. And we do have photocopy shops. So, yeah. I had thought actually about just vintage packaging too. So, yep, second class. This one, I haven't had this one too very long. I bought it late. I want to put this one aside because I bookmarked in it. That one can go on the floor. All right, and then these, I'm sure most of you have seen it. The Golden Mean. Well, actually, these 4 books all go together. They are a correspondence between Griffin and Sabine. And I would suggest, if you're interested in stuff like that, get them all. And read from beginning to end. The first one of these that I got, I think it's the Griffon, was a gift from my pen pal. Oh my God, I was so sucked in. Hi, Joan. Anybody else I might have missed? Lee. Did I say hi, CB? These are just the most amazing, wonderful books, and they again have inclusions, envelopes inside where you have to pull it out, read it, look at it. It just makes the whole experience so good. So, so good. And I'm not going to tell you about it. You're just going to have to read it and find out. You're easily enabled. I hear you. I hear you. Some days Dee Dee just absolutely pushes me over the edge. No matter how hard I try. This morning she did it with those little the half comp books. And it's like I don't need them. But now she showed them and I want them. I'm surprised I didn't jump in the dang car and go to the store. So yeah, this is a correspondence. These 4 books, they all go together. It's a correspondence between Griffin and Sabine. If you read one, you're going to want to read them all. Because it's not just the story, it's the artwork. See, he's repeated that. I saw that in one of the other books. But anyway, look at this amazing art. It's so interesting, you love these books. I do too. And I'm almost sitting here thinking, you know what? I'm going to read these again. I mean, I still have in my mind what the whole premise was, but I'm going to read them again. And the artwork is just amazeballs. I'd love to know how many of these, hi ARH, hi Kat, anybody I missed, I'm sorry, I'm glomming onto this eye candy and not paying attention to chat. So they're much all the same vein, but one continues to the other. So they're just so cool books to have. You know, if I had to go through this house and get rid of just stuff, because I have a lot of stuff, these books would never be on the list. If I had limited space, I'd somehow make room for the books. If I had to cover every wall in my house with bookshelves, I would do that. And the printed quality of these is so good, you guys. That's another thing. Like when you're holding it and touching it and looking at it, you know the printing quality, everything about it is just so nice. So yeah, this is actually one series I would recommend really, really highly. Is the Griffin and Sabine. Well, anything Nick Bantock. So those are all those books that I just showed are kind of in one vein, you know, except the Mary Engelbreit, obviously. But novels. What's Nick's? Bantock. Bantock. Nick Bantock. You can see that if it'll freaking focus, you freak. I'm gonna see if this one, if I can find a date on this one. I think the Golden Mean was last. 1993. So they're quite old. But I have tons of different categories of books. Hi, Julie. So the next ones I picked out were drawing books. And I don't remember when it must have been sometime last week. We were at Dee Dee's. I think it was the day she was drawing. And somebody in chat was saying how they can't draw a stick figure, blah, 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 blah. Anybody who wants to learn to draw, and I didn't get the book out, I'm pretty sure, but anybody who wants to learn to draw, the first thing I would suggest is order yourself a copy of Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. And the reason for that is it explains, it's Betty Edwards is the author, and she was an art instructor. And you can buy just the book and the workbook that goes with it. I've never had the workbook, and you can do every bit of it just on dumb paper that you already own. But anyway, it's not so much that she teaches you to art in that book or to draw. It's that she changes the way you think about drawing. And I think that's probably as important as the actual skill, because she explains that your brain already has a preconceived idea of, for example, a chair, what a chair is. It's got a back, it's got a seat, it's got 4 legs. Well, you can draw a stick figure of a chair. Anybody can. But to make a chair look like the chair that you may be looking at, you've got to trick your brain into seeing things that really aren't there. So that's the advantage of Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. And anybody who wants to learn to draw should read that book first. But another thing I was telling whoever it was in Dee Dee's chat at the time, hi Dorothy, is draw, and I got this one out for this specific purpose, is draw using a grid technique, where you put out, draw yourself a grid and put, I have like overlays for when I do this. And it's not that I can draw anything perfectly out of my memory, right? But if I put a grid over it, I promise you, I can make anything look like what it originally looked like. And I'm going to pull out one of, if I can find it easily, if it's not too big a pain in the butt. I'm going to show you. And that's a good one. All right. All of us are familiar with different cartoon characters, right? And so for my Inktober in 2016, I did toys. And they're all pretty famous toys that we've all seen, that we're all familiar with. But part of my goal in doing this was not just to do the ink drawing, obviously. It was to make it look as close to the object as I could, as realistic, right? With the shading and whatever. The way you can do this is with a grid drawing. Got to buy Janet a remote mic. I don't do it that often. But anyway, just make yourself, get a sheet protector, and you can draw yourself different grids of different sizes. This one looks to be a 1/2 inch. Got to get out the ruler, you know. Yeah, this is 1/2 inch grid. On the back, I've got 1/4 inch grid. You can do 1 inch grid. So just get yourself a sheet protector and use a Sharpie, and then there's a 1 inch grid. So you can put whatever you want inside there, your grid's there, and you can transfer whatever is in the box. So you do it one box at a time. You don't draw that whole thing because that's intimidating. But you can certainly try to draw what's just in that one box. And if you do that, you can draw almost everything. Hi, Kathy. Your garden is absolutely gorgeous right now, Kathy. So that's why I recommend grid drawing, is it gets you over the hump of being afraid of drawing. One of the things Betty Edwards says in Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain is that she believes anybody can learn to draw. And her argument for that, and it's so true, is we all learned to draw the alphabet. Right? And when you think in those terms, we all learned to draw the alphabet. So there's nothing that says you can't learn to draw a face. Partly it's you're using the proportions correctly, and there's books out there that will teach you all of that. So this book I pulled out so that somebody who wants to learn to draw, if they would just do some of the exercises in this book, you could draw that ballerina, I promise you, because you're just looking at that box. It's just one line that goes from 1/8 of an inch down from the top down to a 1/16 inch from the bottom. And if you look at the measurements and as you're drawing, keep the relations to the line, you know, the box above it or next to it, you will be able to do this, I promise you. And a lot of that's just learning to see, paying attention. Is that leg at a 30-degree angle from her back? You know, if you just start looking at things differently, you'd be surprised how much better you can get. And then it becomes mechanical. You know, if you want to learn to draw perspective or shading or face and body proportions, there are books out there to help you with that. There are YouTube videos, like, unbelievable. But you could draw that. And I thought, you know, probably what I should do is just do a grid drawing of Nefertiti, and you guys would watch it happen before your eyes, because to keep the proportion of that perfect like that, I'm not sure that anybody could do that perfectly. But with a grid pattern, I assure you, you can. So that's why I always say absolutely anybody can learn to draw. It's how bad do you want to learn? And one of the best, in my opinion, art instructors, artists who are enjoyable to watch or buy his books is Mark Criley. This is the 2-pencil method. I just did buy his other book that Dee Dee showed last week. What was it called, Dee Dee? It's sitting right here. The drawing lesson about the little boy who wanted to learn to draw, and he started bugging the hell out of the artist that he met to teach him how to draw. And she says the same thing. You've got to change how you think about drawing. It's not that you don't have the skill. It's more in your brain than it is actual ability. And so if you start thinking in those terms, you'll stop being afraid. That's a self-portrait. That's Mark himself. But he's got some awesome YouTube videos. And obviously, when you start, you're not going to be able to draw a portrait like that. But if you just get to where you could get the two people, their face angles and everything correct, that's the first step, right? Yeah, the drawing lesson. Yeah, it is. It is a great book. So in this book, he literally is talking about creating art like this with two pencils, like an HB, a number 2, and then maybe a bold, so you can get the contrast needed to create depth. So these, in this book, these are great exercises. And if you want to learn to draw, Dee Dee's statement about it's not necessarily talent, it's sitting on your butt and doing it. He was the first famous artist on YouTube, yes, and he has great videos out there. And his voice is really nice to listen to. So he's got a little bit of everything in here. But this is another, in my opinion, really good book with minimal supplies, just being able to look at how the drawing begins. And you've watched Dee Dee or me or anybody on YouTube do this 1,000 times. Getting the general shape, getting it right, filling in a little bit of detail, more and more and more, until you end up with an iguana that looks like that and has some dimension. The tiger, yeah, the tiger is very, very good. I like the wolf too. But look how that starts out. It's a very simple drawing to begin with. It's not like he starts out like that. You have to start with something really simple and then correct and add more as you go. So change the way you think about drawing. He's a kitty cat. I've been wanting to get a pet lately, and I'm fighting the urge. I promise you, I'm fighting the urge. I miss kitty cat snuggles. He talks to you about the speed of doing, how different strokes, you learn different strokes and doing it fast versus doing it very slow and precise. And so there's a lot of things to think about, but absolutely every one of them are doable. Doable, I promise you. And I think Dee Dee's right. Most often, and I'm guilty as anybody of this, is the reason you probably aren't happy with your own artwork a lot of times is that you don't have enough contrast. How can you make, using the same two supplies, a soft pencil and a hard pencil, can you make this look like metal and that look like fur? Right? It's just, nothing's different. Two pencils. It's technique. And if you work on it, you will develop technique. Graphite actually is one of my very favorite things to do. I did nothing but graphite for years. Years and years and years. And then I did colored pencil for years and years and years. How to create texture, how to see perspective. So yeah, any Mark Criley book, I would highly recommend. And I just picked out some that are really my favorites. And one of my absolute favorite artists, and I bought every one of her books, is Lee Hammond. Lee Hammond does a lot of the grid drawings. And she does color, she does black and white, she does everything. But here's one of her grid drawings. It just seems like her books are, they don't intimidate you. Like, they make you feel like, I could do that. I could really do that. But starting with a good drawing to begin with, and then adding stuff as she does, you could produce really, really good art. Look at, I was going to draw a koala. I have a bookmark up here. Almost all of my books have crap like this hanging out of them, or artwork stuck in them, where I was just playing. This she did with Verithin pencils and Prismacolor. So any of the Lee Hammond books I would recommend. And you get the bonus of she does graphite and colored pencil. So you get to do the black and white and the color. Yeah, kitty snuggles are the best. I've been really, really missing them. Yeah, see, here's where I was just drawing George Washington grid. And that was just out of one of those cheap pads that you buy anywhere. Look at the facial. I got a book on facial expressions. Because after you build up your ability and your technique, there's always more you can do. It's not like you get to a point and you just stop. There's always more you're going to learn. Always more places you can use the techniques you've already learned. How to draw an ear, how to draw an eye, mouth. She makes it all very simple. So any of the Lee Hammond books. You're 67. There's never been a time you haven't had cats. Well, part of my problem right now is I think I don't want a kitten and I don't want a puppy because I don't think it's to the... I think I'm going to live for a lot of years, but I don't want to get a pet who is going to get elderly and then I may not be around. This is Carrie Stewart Parks and Rick Parks. I got this on sale at Hobby Lobby, and I'm really glad I did. Because it's kind of just like that Lee Hammond book that I just showed you, where don't try and do an entire face. Pick out somebody's mouth and just draw it, and try and get it as accurate as you can. I've kind of been wanting a blue heeler puppy is what I want, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So, and I think every book teaches you something a little bit different. I don't think, oh yeah, ARH, I would definitely go to a shelter and get a pet that, you know, maybe their owner's gone or whatever reason. Yeah, I would adopt an older pet at this point. And see, Robert and I always said, whenever anything happens to Roxy, we're going to take a few years and just travel, right? Well, then Roxy passed, and now we've got COVID, so we can't travel that much. I suppose we could travel, but you don't know what's going to be open or available when you get wherever you're going, so it's like, it's just safer right now to stay at home, right? Not that I mind that, but anyway. So different books are going to teach you different things. And you can, in my opinion, never have too many. So this one was another one. Big Book of Realistic Drawing Secrets. And everybody teaches just a little bit differently too. But this is an awful lot like that Lee Hammond book I just showed. Really makes you work on different textures, hair, fur, metal, whatever. Your son gets his Australian Coolie pup on Monday. Oh man, that's exciting. Lane and Amy have her, I think it was her sister, no, her cousin just had a litter of German Shepherds, and they're going to get a puppy German Shepherd. And I've showed these books before. There's two of them. Drawing for Dummies. If you can only buy one book today, well, no, you have to buy Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain if you want to attempt to draw better. But for starters, this Drawing for Dummies in my opinion, is one of the best books. Look how many things I've got marked in here. I've had these books probably since they came out. And they're printed in the USA. Okay, this is copyright 2003. I think these, just for doing something simple but seeing it differently, like using, they used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles to draw that little guy on the cover. But see how with shading they've made it look dimensional? Hey, Scooby-Doo! Doing stuff like that is just so valuable. You learn stuff from it, and you retain that. It's not just doing it once. You actually retain how to make that flat circle look like a sphere. You have the books in your Kindle reader. Yeah, these, in my opinion, are some of the best. How to draw a children's nose, how to draw a children's eye. Here's some stuff. Flowers are always good because every flower is different and you can't screw up. Nobody will never know if you screw up. That's why I paint a lot of flowers in my watercolor, because I'm learning. And so a flower, you can't hardly screw it up, except I did screw up Kathy Arbor's rose. But anyway, these two books. Buy them and do every exercise in them. And I promise you, when you finish them, you will be a better drawer. And you won't feel so intimidated, I think is the thing. I don't know what this was. This was an exercise of some sort. Oh, how to, with just this scribble, turning it different ways and seeing something in the scribble. So in this way, I don't know, I might have been on drugs, but I saw a silhouette of a head/body. This is a talking frog. Big-nosed, open-mouthed man. Oh, okay, that's down here. I can see that again. Looks like a cartoon character. And a funny bird. I'd have to stare for a long time to see that. So, yeah, sometimes just doing exercises like that, opening up your brain, good place to go. But I like things that have straight lines. So you should draw something like this and stick it in a book. I don't know why I do that. So anyway, yeah, this book, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And this was Brenda Hodnott. And this one also is Brenda Hodnott. And this is a complete idiot's guide to drawing people. Here's a little note to myself. And then look again how often I put little markers in there. There's some feet that I didn't plan my spacing very well. I probably had no plans on drawing that day. Let's see what's here. Oh, nasty things. Yeah, she has a whole section in this book on proportions, people proportions head to foot. Like your whole body is 5 heads high and stuff like that. But one thing I guess I like about her is like just drawing that cartoon look face and shading it to give it depth. It doesn't have to look like anybody or anything, but you're learning as you're drawing, right? Let's see what this is. Oh, I drew that little guy. And this, you can do this one. And I've told this story before that I showed my friends in Texas, grandkids, how to do this. And one of the little girls was a teenager. And she found one of hers. And she said, I remember when she taught me to do that. And she was probably 5 at the time. But again, facial features, noses, eyes. And that makes me, where's that other book? And a lot of my books are reference material. Now, used to be, if you drew or painted or whatever, you had to accumulate your own reference material. So I have books and books and books of flowers, trees, birds, whatever. Because we didn't have the internet, right? And so having a book like this to practice facial expressions was a valuable thing. So I don't know if something like this is as important, but just drawing people, like drawing that one, for example, looking at somebody's face from underneath where you see their chin and how the proportions change depending on the angle that you're looking at. Stuff like this is really, really helpful. I don't necessarily mind drawing off of I have an Amazon Fire, and I'll pull stuff up and draw off of it. But I still like having a book. Thanks, Scooby-Doo. So this is just a really good reference book for facial expressions. And how you can take a facial expression from a person, like this guy, and turn it into a cartoon. I'm not recommending that you go out and buy this book, but I think it is just, if you don't have any inspiration and you pull this book out and just look at the faces and look what somebody did with, like, you can almost see where he took that woman's face and turned it into this guy's expression. They're just valuable to have. And who knows, someday my internet may go out and I can still do all the stuff that I couldn't do, right? Look at these. So yeah, push yourself. And I know a lot of you do art journaling and stuff like that, and I could have gotten out the art journal magazine or books and stuff, because there's plenty of those as well. But yeah, most of you are getting on YouTube and seeing what products and techniques people are using. And I think YouTube is a better avenue for that than, say, drawing. I would love to turn faces into animals. See, Darlene, if showing this gave you no other inspiration than that, like you could turn that into a tiger face or something, a tiger snarling or a dog laughing or whatever. You can almost see it in your mind's eye, but something like this kind of gives you that prod to try it. If you draw his teeth like that, what would a dog doing that face look like? And the thing is, use cheap paper and a number 2 pencil and see what you get. If you don't like it, you could throw it away. But I would recommend that you save it so that 2 years from now you can look back and go, wow, I have really improved. I like to pick an actual flower and draw it, as it is easier to see in 3D. Copying from a page is copying a flat subject. Well, that's true. And I'm not discounting that drawing from real life is valuable, but you can't beat a good book. So that's a good reference book. And of course, there's thousands of them. Dee Dee enabled me the other day. I swore to God when she showed all her books, I'm not buying a book, I'm not buying a book, I'm not buying a book. Well, I did go ahead and buy this Passion for Flat Plants, and it's still sitting here because I haven't had a chance to really go through it yet and bookmark different things that I want to do. But wouldn't that be just an awesome watercolor? So yeah, I haven't done anything with this book yet, But if you think I can't be enabled, Dee Dee enables me all the time. Look at that iris. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not unhappy that I bought it. I don't have room on the bookshelf for it, but I'm not unhappy that I bought it. And then probably my favorite, absolute favorite kind of art, and it has been, I don't know, I was always intrigued by Illumination. And Illumination can include a lot of different products, techniques, whatever. And I went through a period where I did nothing but illumination for the longest time, which then got me into buying inks. And of course I had all the dip pens and stuff like that. But in illumination, oh, and I have a great big beautiful coffee table book of illumination. I think I like that this is how the old manuscripts were done and the products they were using. So you learn a lot about how they mix their inks. What did they use to mix their inks? What are the, not that there's any rules, but there are kind of rules. If you're into illumination, you notice certain things recur over and over and over again. A lot of those things in the original manuscripts have meaning. So it's not just that the art is beautiful. It's that as you're looking at the actual, like the double dragons facing each other, that has a meaning, and you will see that over and over and over again in illuminated art. So it's not just the art itself, it's about learning the meanings, where it was used, where it was created, who did the art. A lot of Zentangles come from that, yeah. So, and that's probably true. Ready to write a book? Well, not today. But yeah, this to me, it's just so rich and creamy, and I want to eat it. You love doing illumination? Yeah. This sort of stuff, I don't know. There's just something about it. The pictures display a story. It's just, I just love it. And I have a bunch around here. I should try and find that where I put it. But they talk about, you know, ruling and the scribes that did it. It's just, it's fascinating to me. And you have to remember, this was all before there were printing presses. So somebody was sitting doing this, and if they needed multiple copies, they had to generate multiple copies. They didn't run it down to the Kinko's and get a few copies made. So this kind of art, the Celtic knots and stuff like that, I love that. I've done a lot of that. I have entire books on that. I didn't get any out, but that's also almost like Zentangle. If you're doing it, there's something so relaxing about it. And when you're done, if you were successful, say for example drawing this frame, there's something so satisfying when you're done with that it's all uniform, that it's straight, that it's inked perfectly. Yeah, there's just something unbelievably satisfying about that. And how could you not love that colorful thing right there? Every one of us could do that. Using real gold? Yeah, I never used real gold. But it's just so rich. So illumination is a particular kind of art all of its own, and they talk about the mediums that we use and grinding the pigments, and it has its own set of rules. It's not like, I mean, of course I used products that I had, whether it was gold watercolor or gold ink or whatever. I didn't subscribe to using the actual pigments that I ground myself because I wasn't that crazy yet. Yeah, here's like placing gold leaf. That's what Dorothy's talking about, that you can buy actual gold leaf and you learn how to apply it. And yeah, that's very fun. But these people are true artisans, no doubt about it. Look at that. That piece of art. You know, just imagine the amount of time it took somebody to sit down and do that all by hand and never screw up. It's not like they had white out, you know? Yet. Exactly, ARH. I haven't gone goofy yet. Well, I went goofy a long time ago, but I haven't gone this goofy. So, yeah, if you like illuminated art, I would say this is a good book. Because it teaches you the basics of, you know, the history of it and that sort of thing. And then Patricia Carter, she's put out a few different books. And this is almost like bastardized illumination. But it's still fun, and it's very rewarding to do, where you illuminate, whether it be a quote, but this is kind of where you learn to do things that are repeated, elements that you'll see over and over and over again. And it reminds me of doing the dangle letters, only this is illuminated letters. That's it. And I think I've done some of these, didn't I? I think I did letters for you guys like this, where I'm almost sure I did. In fact, I remember doing Norma's. So I've used this book on stream before where I illuminated each of you, some of you guys, individuals. In fact, Dorothy, I think I've done one for you. So, I mean, these are like the extremes, the hardcore illumination and then do-it-yourself illumination. Gives you some idea of alphabets, how to decorate the alphabets. I did something like this for a wedding once, a wedding card. But I think any of these are inspirational. It's just a matter of what you enjoy doing and what you want to learn. Okay, I thought I did, Dorothy. Yeah. So Patricia Carter, I've enjoyed having these books. I've gotten my soul money's worth out of both of them over and over and over again. And she does use a lot of the same elements as the hardcore. I mean, she stuck to the rules to a certain extent and then created her own. So all of this, you know, you learn something in all of it. And I guess it's just how do you want to spend your time? I loved learning this stuff. And other than making cards for people or something like that, is it useful? I don't know. But it sure makes my life fun. And something as simple as this kind of border, you know? You can have fun a whole day doing that. Or a stained glass effect one. I mean, that's just pretty. So, yeah. Illumination is a great art type. And then here's, you can tell I've used this one a lot. Treasury of Illuminated Borders in Full Color. So these you could actually, you know, if you're not going to sell it, you could actually photocopy and do your own quote in there or whatever. But to me, it's just eye candy. What do I have here? Let's see, page 16, ribbon. Let's see what I was thinking about. I write the most stupidest notes to myself. Page 17, don't know anything about that. I do happen to love that though. Page 4, I like the colors. So let's see what's on page 4. I love finding old notes. What was I thinking? Okay, I like the colors in this. Those are very primary colors, red, yellow, blue for the most part, but that is gorgeous. So this is just a book of nothing but borders. So it's, again, you'll see the same elements repeated over and over and over in there. So here's a Celtic knot, and I just think it's fascinating. So this was a really valuable note. I'll put it back. Write it down, right, Dee Dee? Write it down and stick it in a book so you'll never ever find it again. So yeah, those are just some examples of illumination, which I love, and I have a huge, beautiful illuminated book. Okay, my book stack is going to topple over here in just a minute. It just did. And then I only got out one of these. I've got like 3, 4, 5 books left, so we're getting close to done with the book review. This one I haven't had very long. Let's see what the copyright date is. I think there's tons of stuff I could do out of this book. 2017, so it's been around a while. I just didn't buy it apparently. Look at that turkey. An artichoke. Artichoke makes me miss my mom. So yeah, these are just, looks like little paintings and drawings to get you inspired to do stuff. None of it's hard. Any of us could do it. Look at that owl. That is so cool. So obviously I need to leave this book out so I could do some stuff out of it, because I don't think I ever have. Drawing tree bark and graphite. You could spend a whole afternoon doing that. And if I didn't want to draw this myself, I could make a photocopy of that and just do the painting inside, right? Yeah, this is total eye candy. But like, they give you little ideas. After every painting is complete, I scan my art and stitch the scans together in Photoshop. Having a scan of my work means I can reproduce it for fine art prints, greeting cards, and other products. I have several backups for each painting. Never store your images in only one place. If your computer crashes or the one backup drive you have breaks, you can lose your work. I use external hard drives, thumbnail drives, and online cloud storage. Yeah, the owl would be good, right, Scooby-Doo? All right, let me put a... just drawing that would be fun as all get out. So I will put myself a little marker on here, and I'll leave this book out as well. So here in the next few weeks, I'll probably be doing some of the paintings out of here. See, I love them all. I would do any one of them. Now, whether or not I would do them as well as what's shown, I think that remains to be seen, but I'm never going to give up trying. I think pushing yourself to do things that you think are above your head is a good thing. Not necessarily, I don't know, sometimes I say, oh, I don't like what I did or whatever, but I'm never disappointed that I at least attempted. Something tells me Dee Dee did that onion, or an onion very similar. I don't remember. Dee Dee, did you do that onion? Or did Dee Dee already leave? If she did, I don't blame her. She's been sitting in front of her computer for all day. But just doing these rough bird sketches, that alone would help you. I will do it, Scooby-Doo. Here's a skeleton of a bird. Has anybody ever seen the skeleton? Oh, you guys, that reminds me. I told Lane and Robert this story a little while ago. I was sitting out in the breezeway, I think it was yesterday. No, it was the night before last, because it was just kind of getting dusk. And I was sitting there probably reading Twitter or something. Okay, that's what I thought, Dee Dee. Anyway, and I literally felt, and my breezeway is like an indoor-outdoor space. I can close the doors and lock it, but it's mostly windows. And I had the front door open, and I had the back door open too. And I felt the wind and heard the whoosh go past my face, and a bird, a female cardinal, I mean smacked. As that bird had to be going fast. I never saw the bird in flight. That's how fast it came past my head and banged into the window behind me. And then fell on the ground, and you could tell that it was dazed. You know, like if it was a cartoon, its eyes would have been rolling in its head, and that sound that they make when they're crazy. I felt so bad. And when I'm sitting there going, oh crap, what do I do? Do you pick the bird up? Do you try and... The skeleton made me think of that. Because I'm sitting there thinking, oh crap, what do I do? But like my brain finally kicked in gear and said, well, he tucked his wings in, so I knew his wing wasn't broken, right? Or it would have been out at a crazy angle. But his one foot was kind of at a crazy angle, and I thought, well, his foot should really be okay because he was flying, unless he hurt it when he fell to the ground, right? So I thought, well, it'd probably be better if I don't do anything right now. I'll just keep an eye on him. Because what am I going to do? I don't know anything about bird health or how to take care of a dang bird. So I thought, okay, I'm going to just... It did get underneath my table. So at least it was protected from anything, you know... I don't... Who's going to hurt it, me or Robert? So I thought, well, I'll come back out in a few minutes. I'll just leave it alone, you know, so it doesn't feel scared by me being there. And I'll come back out in a little while. So I gave it about 30 minutes, and I went back out. And as soon as I opened the door to go out into the breezeway, I scared the bird, and he took off flying, or she took off flying out the back door. But talk about feeling helpless. Oh my gosh, it was just like, what do you do? Well, I don't know what happened to the hawk that we saved, but you feel so darn helpless. It's like, I wouldn't know the first thing to do. So anyway, that's my bird story. I got tons of those stories. The wildlife around here is ridiculous. This in just graphite, that's awesome. And here they give you little tips. Follow these simple steps to create your own habitat drawing. Start by drawing the flowers at different angles and different stages of growth, buds, semi-open, and mature. Do a rubbing of a leaf to capture the venation of the plant. Remove some of the disc and ray flowers from the plant and draw them separately. Become familiar with how they are arranged and attached to the flower head. Observe and take notes on how the plant grows. Kathy Arbor has been doing this in her little journal, and she's good at it. So Tuesdays, watercolor flowers with Kathy Arbor on her YouTube channel. Go there. Observe and take notes on how the plant grows. Draw aspects of how the leaves attach to the stalk. Lastly, uproot the plant and draw the root system. Don't uproot your plant. That's a stupid idea. So yeah, this just, it's real basic, illustrating what's around you all the time. Birds and flowers. I like that too. A bulb and how it works. Now that one you could, well, it's before you put it in the ground, you could draw that. But don't yank your plants out of the ground to draw them. Unless it's a weed, of course. Dandelion, okay, do that. But your good plants, don't. How to draw a twisting leaf. See, any of this is really, really valuable. And And the cool thing is, after you learn it, you get to keep it. It's not like you have to relearn it over and over and over again. And more than anything, it's observation. Seeing what you're actually seeing and being able to recreate that. Like doing that artichoke and drawing the curvature with curved lines. Your brain doesn't forget that. Hi, Dick. Sensi, when you were a little kid, you thought horseradish was made from real horses. No, glue is. And if you're Dee Dee, you have scented glue. It tastes like, or smells like blueberry. But all of these books start out with a list of materials, and they start you out slow. So, you know, if you haven't bought yourself some of these books, I would say invest in one that really intrigues you, whether it's Botanical and Bird, whether it's Flowers, whether it's The Idiot's Guide to Just Drawing Comics, whatever. Just to get your ass sitting down in the chair doing it. But that book I'm going to leave out because I'm going to do that out. And then I just got this one out too because a lot of you do mixed media. I do more drawing and that sort of stuff. But this I thought was a really interesting book. And the only reason I bought it, I would not have bought this book if it wasn't on sale at Hobby Lobby during their clear out. But there was one part of this that I thought, for people who want to draw, that I thought was really interesting. I'm not necessarily, it's not that I don't like it, but I'm just not interested in doing that. Even though I like it, I just can't imagine myself doing it. But I can imagine myself doing whatever, I'll get to it. But in here they again talk about ink as a glaze and playing with acrylics, acrylic inks, whatever. But this woman obviously, her name is Karen O'Brien, obviously has a particular style. And she's good at it, I'll give her that. I'm not necessarily interested in doing it. But one of the things I saw in this book that really intrigued me, and I love the colors that she uses. I will give her that. This is a section, no. She's talking about painting with fluid acrylics there. I mean, I love that piece of art. I just can't imagine myself creating it, but maybe I should, because again, it would be getting me out of my box, doing something different. Maybe I would like it. What do I know? Oh shoot, but there was one thing in here that I thought, oh, that's a cool idea. And this one, she's using like old book paper for the girl's face, drawing on that. Now that I find very intriguing. That would be fun. I don't know that I would do faces like hers, but where you use book paper in a unusual, unique kind of way. Okay, this is the part that I really liked. Combining pencils and mediums over photocopies, where you take a picture of maybe somebody you know or some unknown person, but take an actual picture. She's using a black and white picture of a young guy, and then putting your tracing paper or whatever over it and turning that picture into a character, whether it's, you know, obviously a little bit more cartoonish in this instance, adding leaves to his shoulders and stuff like that. That I find very intriguing. Using something or somebody that you actually know and altering them, but so that it still looks like the known person. You know what I'm saying? That was it, of everything in this book, and there was a lot to learn in this book, and it's eye candy. But that I found particularly intriguing, is to take a known picture and turn it into something else. I think we've all found our own way to art, all in different ways. See, that's just it. And again, I mean, Dee Dee and I and a lot of us are fortunate in that we've been collecting supplies and stuff for a long time. But don't feel like you have to have all the supplies. Use what you've got. Sometimes I've learned more requiring that I use a minimal palette, only 2 colors or something like that. So you have to learn to mix or use things different ways. I think all of that is valuable, but that particular thing in this book to me was very intriguing, and I wouldn't mind trying doing something like that, just because it would test your skills, right? And why not test your skills? So I'll bookmark that. But this, I like that she's got, you know, handwriting behind it. But I'll never do these wide-eyed girls. I won't. Even though I like them. And I'm glad she found her own style, you know? These are forest people. So, yeah, if you like this kind of art, uber interesting. But this is a book that I would not have bought had it not been on sale. So sometimes you have to break out of your box and buy something that you're not necessarily interested in learning. I still read it, and I still read about the products that she uses. She uses Golden products, so she can afford them because she sells books, right? Now that little guy's cute. So yeah, that's just mixed media painting techniques, and there's tons and tons of these books out there. Go look up mixed media either on YouTube or Amazon, and you'll find more stuff than you can even imagine. And this was sent to me by one of the fibs. I love Postage. And I used to make a lot of my own. I had some of them I made over and over again. I used rubber stamps, I used my own drawings, I used whatever. I like the precision of postage stamps. I like that they generally have lettering on them. You can turn anything into a postage stamp. And I like the miniature. I love miniature anything. So yeah, postages, and I have tons of postage books. But this one of the fibs sent me, and this guy, Donald Evans, created all of the postage in this book. And this is something I'd really, really like to do. Like, look at this. He did just a page of, I could do this out of Zentangle, right? But some of you have gotten letters and stuff from me where I've created my own postage just as a little special thing, right? So this to me is also very, very intriguing. Totally useless, but it's enjoyable, so who cares? But I like this, like the monochromatic, where he's done the same image multiple times, but just in different colors. Hi, Ashley. Anybody I might have missed? I miss Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. I wants to share some info. What? So anyway, yeah. Postage is just, to me, awesome. I wish the post office would do like a postage competition again, because that brought out some really interesting. Look at these. Mushroom, postage of little tiny mushrooms. Who doesn't love that? Windmills in Holland. Butterflies. And you guys, if you want to try this, maybe I'll do a postage stream. How How many of us have rubber stamps that we don't know what to do with? Make yourself some postage. Maybe we should do a postage swap. Oh, I need to write that down. That would be fun. Would you guys participate in something like that? Not an actual postage, but postage that you made. Postage swap could be really fun. Tell me what you think in chat. And you could do a whole panel. Individual stamps. We did that before. Did I do it, CB? I don't remember it, but that doesn't mean anything because I don't remember what I had for dinner last night, except yogurt, which is what I think made me feel bad today. Sure, you wouldn't get it in time, but I would participate. Well, Rachel, did that whole thing work out in your best interest? You got us again. Define made, that you created your own self. Rachel, I think that turned out okay. Even though you didn't get a lot of cards from other people back, you definitely got fun stuff back. Okay, CB's saying she would participate. Look at just a single cherry, but the circular writing is so awesome. So I would do that. You guys aren't answering, so I don't think you're going to do it. Okay, I'll swap with Rachel. That's it. This one's a little bit bigger. But keep in mind, you have to work really, really small. But you could use rubber stamps. You could draw it. You could collage it. I think collage postage would be fun, where you could cut out the words. Because you get to make it up. It doesn't have to, you know, I would make up certain requirements, but, yeah. Heck yes, I would. Okay, Ashley, we're in. Linda will do it. Didn't mean to say it that way. You were very generous. Rachel, I'm just giving you crap. I felt bad because it was not your fault. Now, if you'd mailed it 2 days before and it didn't get here, I would be all over you like Ugly on Ape. But that was through no fault of your own. So I did try and make it up to you. And I don't feel bad about doing that, and I don't want you to feel bad. Dorothea, do one. Too small for you, Dee Dee. I understand that. Okay, I'm going to seriously think about that, you guys. Now I'm not going to do, it wouldn't be a theme other than postage. But I wouldn't do a theme where it has to be mushrooms or something like that. Let me think about if I want to do a particular size. I'm thinking if I put too much restrictions on it, it wouldn't be fun. Where you get to make it up yourself. The only thing it has to have is country of origin and monetary value. Right? But otherwise, the subject matter could be up to you. Look at the domino stamps. Who doesn't love that? I'm marking that down. Look at you guys. I've gotten so inspired in this hour and 45 minutes, whatever. Like, I have a ton of projects to do now just from having looked through my own books. But that happens every time. Too small for you, Dabbler? Terry Brett would probably have a go. Well, I'm not sure that we couldn't say that it can't be any bigger than ATC size or something. I'm going to do small postage size. And this one's cool because it's got a whole scene of a mountain, a volcano actually, it looks like, where it's a panel. Our postage, or our USPS did something like that, where you bought a whole panel and all the stamps on the page were different. I like those stamps, actually. And I have a whole collection of stamps. I could do a domino stamp, the double blank. There you go, CB. CB, don't even be talking that crap because you literally could do a stamp of anything. You will have to do a show on how to make them. Okay, I would do a postage stamp stream for sure. I'll leave this book out too, but this one's cool. It's got umbrellas, pears, arrows, bananas. Here's one of plaid. That would be cool. Just postage stamps of plaid. So, yeah, I think we've got a plan here, you guys. And if only 5 of us do it, oh well, it sucks to be everybody else. Here's roosters. Who doesn't love rooster postage? Slap CB around a bit with large trout. There you go, Judy. That's what she deserves. Stamps from around the world. So I love this book. I can't remember who sent it to me, and I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't write it down. Yeah, but this is a great book. And if you like postage, I don't know if you guys know it, and I'm pretty sure the post office is still doing it. You can sign up online for the U.S. Philatelic brochure that they put out every quarter, I believe. And they will send it directly to your home. I'll go grab one real quick. And I won't talk so you can't hear me, Rachel. Hang on, I'll go get it. I think I have one. Okay, here we go. I'm pretty sure they're still doing this. I let my subscription run out and I need to go and sign back up. But quarterly, the United States Postal Service will send you a brochure of all the current postages, where the design came from, who designed them, but you can cut them out and use them too. Now, you can't use them as postage because they usually have a mark through them or something. I mean, you're not going to fool anybody. They always change the size, whatever. But I don't know if you guys know that you can get this free from the United States Postal Service. The United States government doesn't do very much for free, but to me, this was a really good thing they did. Look at the ice cream ones. So, and I've bought a lot of stamps and have the first date of issue and stuff like that. So if you're a stamp freak, you're my BFF. And then I have tons and tons of watercolor books. I only got out 2 because I pretty much have shown all of my watercolor books. Well, I'll get this one down because I particularly like it. I keep them close because I obviously have been watercoloring more recently. And these are not necessarily watercolor instruction books, but they're a couple of my favorite. And you guys know that I love Ruth Chou Simmons, the artwork in her books, and her books are faith-based, or at least the ones I have. So there's a lot of scripture in here and stuff like that. But her watercolors are so simple and so yummy. And I just like the whole premise of all the books. So I just got these out because of all the books that I have that are watercolor. These are honestly some of my favorite. Yeah, just go to the United States Postal Service website and you can sign up for it, and they deliver it directly to your home. You can even order your stamps and they'll deliver stamps to your home. Support the USPS, they're going broke. But don't worry, we'll just print more money. There. But having books like this are inspirational to me. You used to collect stamps in the first day covers. Yep, I have done it. It depends on the stamp. I used to do it a lot more. And now it just depends on the stamps. Like the cartoon ones, I got all of those. Yeah, I have a bunch. I should get it out someday and show you guys. I have collections all over the damn place. Even her bugs are cool, right? So So she is just an amazing artist. I did this cover of the book on stream one time. I just find that so appealing. I think I put a quote on that one. So these I think you can still get at Hobby Lobby. They're in the books at the front, the inspirational books, and that's where I originally found these. I didn't know about Ruth Chow Simmons until I saw her books there, and I was sold immediately. You ordered stamps from Amazon? Postage stamps from Amazon? Yeah, see, I do too, Kathleen. We could look at stamps forever. Like, look at that watercolor. Is that not gorgeous? And I like how she does quotes along with illustration. So, yeah, that's kind of stuff I like. I like these sunflowers, and I was going to paint those for the beast. So this book also has tons of bookmarks in it of things that just inspire me. I want to try it. I did do this one too, the honeycomb. And I think I put Pooh Bear on it or something. Don't remember, but seems to me. So yeah, I mean, I think you can find inspiration a lot of different places. And this is a fraction. A fraction. Look at that. Ah, it's gorgeous. But even just like, look at this butterflies kind of silhouettes. Those are awesome. And there's a caterpillar. He has no clue that someday he'll be that beautiful. God, I hope that's me. Someday I'm going to turn from this goofball into a beautiful butterfly, you think? Think that could happen? So, probably next week I will have the watercolors out, because then my house won't be clean. Because honestly, partly I just felt icky today, and I still feel icky. My stomach's real burning right now. But yeah, next week I won't mind trashing out the house again, so I'll get some other stuff out. Of course, now I have to put all these books away. And then I'll just do this one quickly, and we'll call it a day early. Claudia Nice's watercolor pen and ink books. I think Kathy Arbor actually introduced me to these, and this is another. When I saw these, I was just absolutely sold. I've done a lot of her, like the marbles. I did these jars. Glass to me is especially intriguing to recreate, just because its reflections are so different and its transparency is so unique. So glass to me was particularly intriguing, and I wanted to do it. And with watercolors, it just seemed to me like the perfect medium to do glass, right? Her translucent work, exactly, Rachel. It has its own magic, I guess. But any of her work, in my opinion, is amazing, and it makes you want to do it. Now, I've not done much textures with watercolor. That might be something I'm going to have to look at doing soon. I've done this a lot with graphite and a lot with colored pencil, but I've not done much texture with watercolors, so that might be the next thing I need to start looking. Cass enabled you? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cass enabled me on this as well. There's another onion peeling. Cantaloupe. We should start getting pretty good cantaloupes at the store pretty soon. But again, like, here's a section about still life strategies. So, you know, you get some ideas of balance and positioning and stuff like that. And if you're going to get really good at art, those are things that at some point you're going to have to pay attention to, right? So I like because she tells you the color she used, or if she mixed it, what color she mixed to get it. Because when you're beginning, those things are particularly troubling, right? We either did this on Cass's show or I did this one alone. I like the snowflakes, using salt to create the snowflakes up in the sky and in the water. I can't remember if we did that on Cass or not. But I like pen and ink over watercolor. I think it's a very cool technique. And Kathy Arbor does a lot of that. So yeah, if you can't find stuff to do out of these books, then there's something wrong with you. Look at that. Quail. Quail makes me think of Dad. He was a good quail hunter. So, but I mean, watercolor books are a lot the same. I learn a lot from them, but more than anything, I think I mostly get inspired. I just thought of something. I gotta write it down. Did my pen run out of ink? Look, it's totally out of ink. I hate when that happens. Hate it. But now I get to get a new one. I can't tell you what I wrote down because it's my idea for my postage. Okay. So yeah, that was all the books I got out, you guys. She does a ton of stuff in here, from water to marbles to fish, animals, landscapes. Like, you're definitely going to stretch your abilities in here. This is a great book. Any of Claudia Neiss books are really, really good. But look at, there we go, texture again. Birch trees are especially fun in watercolor. I have to say, it was one of the first things I tried and learned, and I was just so thrilled with my bad self when I did good. But yeah, you'll learn a lot out of these books. For real. It might be time to paint some marbles again to see if I've gotten any better. Eyes. Now, I've never painted people either. I've never painted eyeballs or anything like that. That might be a good exercise for me too. Okay, this is the marbles that I painted, and I painted them twice, and I loved it every time. You drew a watermelon with a face in watercolor. It was fun. I'll bet it was, Cheryl. And I did these bottles. They were particularly tricky, but definitely a learning experience. The look of transparency. So she's got a whole section on it. So I guess it just depends on what you enjoy doing, what you want to learn next. I think one thing I do is I'm always pushing myself to learn something new, and that's why I kind of got into watercolor. I had never done it. I said I was never going to do it. But now that I've done it, I am so happy, because probably the last maybe 3 years, I've been a little bit obsessed with it. So, yeah. And then you get to buy a whole nother section of art books that you probably never would have bought. And that's the fun thing. And then last week, I told you guys I would show you. I worked on that Zentangle piece that I was going to put in my frames. You guys, I'm not sure I'm in love with this. Here's both of them. They sit on either end of a table, and this one's got glare, so. So I did go ahead and finish it, and I cut it, and shaded it and everything, and put it in the frames. I'm not sure I love it, so I'm not sure it's going to stay, but I did get it finished, and I enjoyed doing it. Like, you guys remember I did that curly Q on stream. I don't remember what I did on stream and what I didn't, but yep, I did get it done. And these are when they're in the, and see, these are CD holders, so they actually hide your CDs in plain view. So I don't know, I probably am gonna, I think, do, because of where they are at in the house, I'm kind of thinking I might end up doing birds to put in here and take these out. But I don't know. We'll just, it's not, it doesn't matter, really, if this stayed like this for a year. See, that's how I am, CB. I'm just not sure that I'm in love with it. But I think I might like if I did a couple of birds. But, yeah, I said I would show you, so I pulled that out to show you. But I don't think that's going to stay. But for now, it's okay. It'll work. So let's look at the cartoons. I'll pull you guys in really close, since I went to all the trouble to get this out. I had to lean over and take it off the shelf. Anyway, this is 2016. I don't know how many years I've been doing Inktober. Maybe 2016 was the first year. 5 or 6 years. Thanks, CB. All right, I pulled you in maybe a little bit too far. Let's just look through it. This will bring back childhood memories. Jacks. Did you know that jacks were also known as knucklebones? And cooties. Dr. Quack. I actually have that game. The box is all old, and you can tell that it's very, very old. Yeah, I tried. There's a barrel of monkeys. This was the funnest one. The Slinky. That was really fun to make it all work. You really had to look at angles on this one. And there's this section right in here that I don't particularly like, but it is exactly what it looked like. I didn't have much time this day, apparently. And a lot of these I remember having as a kid. My kids had these. And there's one in here that, this one, my grandmother actually had. I remember the monkey, and you wound it up, and the monkey would clap its cymbals together. We didn't have one at my house, but my grandmother had that at her house. Drum, a wooden train. These were metal. And I think you wound them up and they walked. Didn't have much time this day, apparently. Ball and paddle. I loved ball and paddle. I was really good at it, too. Cupid doll. Rocking horse. Old maid. Soldiers. My brothers had tons and tons of these soldier guys. Airplane. Trolls. Little troll dolls. I love little troll dolls. Raggedy Ann. Pickup sticks. This one was also tricky to get all the pickup sticks on top of each other and doing the shading just right. And then that was Halloween. A sock monkey and a pumpkin. Oh, which reminds me, look at, Dee Dee sent me, I sent Dee Dee a picture of this when I did it. Last week I showed you some Happy Mail that I got from Dee Dee. And I sent her a picture and said, tell Denise that the sock monkey charm found its forever home. Look, it lives on my sock monkey traveler's notebook. Was that not the luckiest thing ever? That I happen to have a sock monkey traveler's notebook cover? Wonder what's in here. The plastic chickens that laid eggs. Oh, okay, I've got a bunch of washi tape samples in here. And I think that's it. Yep, that's all I put in there. I used to use this all the time. And then I got a new one, so I quit using this one. But I might have to go back to it now that I have the sock monkey charm on the sock monkey traveler's notebook. Dr. Quack May probably was way before your time, Cheryl. I mean, I have no clue what age you are, but Dr. Quack is an old game. So you guys, I'm out of things to do. I could go get more books, but I think I'm going to cut it off early so I can just hang out. So I don't remember how many of you guys said you would do a postage swap, but I think enough of you said okay that I'm going to consider doing it. Let's see, it's the end of July, or yeah, it is the end of July. How the hell did that happen? How did we get to the end of July already? Alright, people with kids are probably getting them ready to go back to schools, but that shouldn't affect whether or not. I'm just thinking about what else might impact participation or deadline. So we're into July, we're into August, September. I don't know, I'll probably give us 2 months. Okay, a week from today I will announce the postage swap and probably give us 2 months. So if you want to start on yours before then, it'll be just like the ATC swap. Don't know how many we should do. Okay, I'll get feedback from you guys. Thanks, CB. Did you order anything, CB? You would need an example for the swap. Okay, Cheryl, next Monday I will do a postage, creating postage and announcing the swap, and I'll actually make some for you guys. I'm trying to think how many to include. If you have any ideas, go ahead and leave me a note on Instagram or whatever. You did order something, CB? Good for you, girl. Alright, you guys, I so appreciate you coming. Be kind. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, so be kind. And next Monday I'll make the announcement. How many to make. See, that's just it, Mindy. I don't know yet. Let me think about it. Okay, you guys. Love you. See you later. Bye. Appreciate you coming. Adios, amigos.